What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Jon Jones has once again taken aim at Tom Aspinall in his signature playful and bold fashion. Following the controversial eye poke incident at UFC 321, Jones found a humorous way to keep the story alive by showing up to the dirty boxing ceremonial weigh-ins in Nashville, Tennessee, riding on horseback. But this wasn't just any grand entrance. The horse was wearing an eye patch, a clear jab referencing the eye poke that brought Aspinall's fight with Ciryl Gane to an abrupt and debated end. As Jones arrived at the venue, the crowd erupted in laughter and applause. With cameras flashing and fans cheering, Jones confidently greeted everyone, smiling as he dismounted the horse. "What's going on, DBX4? I'm excited to be here. What's up, Nashville, Tennessee?" he shouted to the audience, his voice filled with excitement. The announcers couldn't resist making jokes of their own. One exclaimed, "Jon Jones on a horse! A goat on a horse!" perfectly capturing the lighthearted mood of the moment. The scene felt less like a typical weigh-in and more like a show, and Jones, as always, knew exactly how to own the spotlight. When asked about the unusual entrance, Jones laughed it off. "How do you have a better entrance than this? We've got the beautiful horse with the eye patch. We're having a good night," he said, grinning from ear to ear. This moment was classic Jon Jones. Confident, clever, and perfectly timed. While some fans saw it as a fun, harmless joke, others viewed it as another dig at Aspinall, reigniting their growing rivalry. Jones has been vocal online since UFC 321, teasing Aspinall over the incident and questioning his reaction to the controversial ending. Whether you find his humor entertaining or provocative, one thing is certain: Jon Jones knows how to stay in the headlines. His mix of charisma and mischief keeps both fans and critics talking. And this latest stunt is another reminder of why he remains one of the most unpredictable and talked about figures in combat sports. As the dust settles from UFC 321, the tension between Jones and Aspinall seems far from over. And if history is any indication, Jon Jones is just getting started. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for latest MMA updates. We truly value your support and need your help to grow. Move on to another news. Corey Sandhagen and Curtis Blaydes recently teamed up to dissect one of the most talked about moments from UFC 321, Tom Aspinall's eye poke incident. In a newly released video, the two UFC stars shared their unfiltered thoughts while replaying the controversial clip in slow motion. Both agreed that the eye poke looked far worse upon closer inspection. "Look how far it goes into his eye," Blaydes remarked as the footage rolled. Sandhagen nodded, adding, "At first, I didn't think it looked that bad, but when you slow it down, man, that one's nasty." The two fighters continued analyzing the sequence, acknowledging how difficult it can be to control hand positioning in real-time exchanges. "I don't think there's much you can do with the gloves," Blaydes said. "Some fighters just poke people in the eyes more than others. It's not always intentional, but it happens." Sandhagen agreed, but pointed out that some fighters have admitted to using fouls strategically. "I've heard guys like Derek Lewis say they'll eye poke or low blow someone just to get a breather," he said. Blaydes was quick to clarify that Tom Aspinall doesn't have that kind of reputation. "He's not known for that," Blaydes said. "He's not Jon Jones." Sandhagen laughed, adding, "Yeah, I don't think I've ever poked anyone in the eye. Maybe it's just because I care. I'm always trying to keep my hands under control." Rewatching the slow motion clip, they both admitted the replay made things look worse. "It was incidental," Sandhagen said. "He was throwing a strike and tried to pull it back, but it still caught him deep. Then you see it kind of drives right into the eye. Yeah, it looks bad." Both fighters agreed that the eye poke appeared accidental, but emphasized how devastating even an unintentional one can be during a high-stakes fight. Their balanced take stood out amid the heated debate surrounding the incident, as fans and analysts continue to argue over whether Aspinall deserves blame or sympathy. In the end, Sandhagen and Blaydes concluded that eye pokes remain one of MMA's toughest problems to solve, and that no glove design can completely prevent them. "It's part of the fight game," Blaydes said. "Nobody wants it to happen, but when it does, you just hope the damage isn't too bad." Move on to another news. Justin Gaethje has finally opened up about one of the most common questions surrounding his fighting style: why he rarely uses his wrestling, despite being a decorated NCAA Division I wrestler. For years, fans and analysts have wondered why a fighter with such a strong grappling background prefers to stand and trade strikes, rather than rely on his wrestling inside the octagon. In a recent Instagram video, Gaethje addressed the topic directly. When asked about the most warranted and unwarranted criticism of his fighting abilities, he admitted both might actually be the same. "The fact that I come from wrestling and don't use it as much as people think I should, that's probably fair criticism," Gaethje said. "I could have tried to implement it more early in my career." He went on to explain that his decision wasn't due to a lack of ability, but rather a shift in passion. Coming from wrestling and never being a striker, I fell in love with striking, Gaethje revealed. That part of fighting really captured me. He also pointed out that even during his wrestling days, he excelled at takedown defense more than offensive wrestling. I was always the best at stopping people from taking me down, he said. Gaethje then highlighted the grueling physical toll of wrestling compared to MMA. In college, those were 7-minute matches, he explained. Now we're talking about 25-minute fights. I could barely walk off the mat after 7 minutes back then. So why would I try to wrestle for 25? I'm not going to get tired wrestling and then get beat up because I gassed out. I'll never lose like that. His comments reveal a strategic mindset. Gaethje isn't avoiding wrestling out of neglect, but out of discipline. He knows his limits and plays to his strengths. Over the years, this approach has defined his reputation as one of the most exciting and fearless strikers in MMA history. While some fans still wish to see him mix in more grappling, Gaethje's philosophy is clear. He fights where he feels most alive. And as his performances show, that place is right in the heart of a firefight. Move on to another news. Michael Bisping has weighed in on one of the most anticipated potential rematches in the UFC heavyweight division, Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. Speaking on his I Believe You Main podcast, the former middleweight champion proposed that the UFC should waste no time in rebooking the fight, suggesting it could take place at UFC 323 in December. Bisping believes running it back quickly would not only settle the controversy surrounding their first bout, but also capitalize on the buzz both fighters have generated. The rematch is going to be even bigger, Bisping said. They should run it back as soon as possible. Put it on UFC 323, end of the year, maybe Madison Square Garden, make it a massive event. He went on to explain how such a fight could fit perfectly into the UFC's year-end schedule. They've already got Alexandre Pantoja versus Joshua Van, and Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan lined up. Stick a third title fight on there. Go out with a bang. 3 title fights on one card to close out the year. That would be huge. Bisping also discussed the importance of timing when booking a rematch like this, emphasizing that both fighters should take advantage of their current form. You want to do it while both guys are still peaking in their training camps, he said. They both look sharp in their last performances, and they can learn a lot from what happened the first time around. Analyzing the stylistic matchup, Bisping praised Ciryl Gane's defensive wrestling but raised questions about how long he could maintain that strength over multiple rounds. We all know Ciryl can stop a takedown, Bisping noted. But could he have stopped 2, 3, 4, or 5 when fatigue sets in? That's something we still don't know. In round 1, he handled it well, but the fight was just starting to get interesting. According to Bisping, a quick turnaround would keep both fighters fresh and ensure the rematch delivers the definitive conclusion fans are craving. It was shaping up to be a phenomenal fight, he concluded. The UFC needs to make it happen before the end of the year. It's the perfect way to close 2025. Move on to another news. Ronda Rousey has sparked major discussion after unleashing a passionate criticism of the MMA community, accusing fans and media of only appreciating fighters when they're on top. Speaking on Bert Kreischer's podcast, the former UFC champion argued that MMA has a culture of quickly discarding its legends the moment they lose, unlike other sports that celebrate their greats long after retirement. MMA fans are the most "what have you done for us lately" crowd in any sport, Rousey said. You look at WAUE, they have such a deep reverence for their legends. In MMA, the second you're not on top, you're not, and you never were. Rousey went on to list several all-time greats to make her point. Chuck Liddell, when he's on top, he's the best. The second he loses, suddenly he never was. Same with Rampage Jackson. He was the next Mike Tyson until he lost. Georges St-Pierre, Anderson Silva, Fedor Emelianenko, all of them. The moment they reach their limit, fans act like they were never great. She then mentioned Khabib Nurmagomedov, arguing that the only reason he's still universally respected is because he retired before facing decline. I think the only reason fans still worship Khabib is because he walked away before he reached his limit. If he had kept fighting and lost, people would say, Khabib ain't, he never was. Rousey expressed frustration that this culture discourages fighters from passing the torch. It's really sad because it makes fighters want to retire while they're peaking instead of helping build up the next generation. I wanted to retire undefeated because I was terrified that one loss would erase everything I'd done. She contrasted this with her experience in WWE, where losing before retirement is part of storytelling. In WWE, everyone retires on a loss. You pass the torch. In MMA, fighters try to take the torch with them because fans destroy their legacy the moment they lose. Rousey also spoke about the brutal realities of the sport that many fans fail to grasp. Most people watching have never fought. They don't understand how short a fighter's shelf life is. Every fight, even training camps, takes something from you. You're taking impact to the head. This is your brain. You can't make it stronger or more calloused. Everyone has a limit, and when a fighter reaches it, fans turn on them and say, "You ain't, you never were." Move on to another news. Rampage Jackson has stirred controversy once again, claiming that Jon Jones deliberately trains eye pokes as part of his defensive arsenal. Speaking candidly about his former rival, Rampage said that Jones' actions inside the octagon are far from accidental. Instead, they're a calculated part of his strategy. "Let me tell you something about Jon Jones," Rampage began. "Jon is the most methodical fighter that's ever stepped into the UFC. His mind works differently than most of ours. He knows exactly what he's doing every second he's in there. Nothing is by accident. I know for a fact he trains those eye pokes. That's his defense mechanism." Rampage elaborated that Jones uses distance control and hand placement to set up the move intentionally. When you're advancing on him and you get close enough, he extends his hand out. You can't reach him, but he can reach you. And that's when those fingers come out. He's doing it on purpose. It's not just instinct, it's practiced. He further claimed that Jones has even addressed the tactic publicly before. "I saw a clip recently where he talked about it himself. He said it might be illegal, but it works." That's coming from him, not me. He knows how to bend the rules better than anyone. When asked if he genuinely believes Jones is the most strategic fighter ever, Rampage didn't hesitate. "Absolutely. Jon Jones is the most methodical, most strategic fighter to ever compete in the UFC. Every game plan he comes in with is insane. He studies opponents like nobody else, breaks them down, and knows exactly how to frustrate and control them." Rampage, who faced Jones in 2011 at UFC 135, has been vocal for years about his belief that Jones uses every possible tool, legal or otherwise, to gain an edge. "Look, man, I fought him. I know what I felt in there. Those eye pokes weren't accidental. He knows exactly how to keep you at the perfect distance while using his reach to his advantage. It's part of his game, and he's perfected it." Jackson's comments have reignited long-standing debates among fans and fighters about Jones's controversial fighting style, raising questions about where brilliance ends and gamesmanship begins.